Welcome to Bad on Purpose, the show for the few that know that it is bad on purpose. Obviously, this is for entertainment purposes only. It's entirely about a fictional world where the entirety of that world is made up, is a fiction, all designed to seduce and corral the mind into compliance for the purpose of compression. We're going to talk about compression a little bit today. And first I want to say what this show is really for. The number one reason for this show is that I cannot guarantee my own success. I cannot guarantee the success of anyone. But the more that there are that have the awareness, that have the intention and the will to do what needs to be done, the more likely is that it will get done. And I grow weary of this world, and I don't want to do this shit again. So the best thing I can do is to share the awareness of what is happening so that we all have a better chance of the charade ending. So that's the number one reason, is to give us all a better chance at true freedom. And the second reason is just a general fuck you to the architects of misery and parasitic behavior, because it feels good, and it's a little reclamation of energy. When something tells you that you can't do something and you do it anyway, it's reclamation of power right there. So it's a show for the few, the very few that know, that have done the work to know. Because anyone can know what this place is, but it takes the work. And the only work that I see that gets anyone there is honesty, authenticity, integrity to oneself, true self, not the character, not the script, the deeper self, the authenticity and honesty within oneself. And this place is designed to keep us from doing that. So I don't blame the individuals that haven't done that work. I know why they haven't, because it's not rewarded. There's no reward for that type of introspective labor. There's no reward here for that. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It is only going to lay it on thicker. It's only going to make the script adjust for the worse. Because that's the whole point of this place, is compression. Let's talk about compression. When you're compressing a file, it's to save space on a computer. In this case, the compression isn't to save space as much as it is to allow what is doing the compressing, what's benefiting by the compression of our energy, to actually be able to control, manipulate, and utilize that energy. The compression happens in stages, and I'll talk a little bit about the stages. From my own experience, I would say that the first stage of compression would be confusion. To confuse a being so that they don't know what's happening. And the best way to start with confusion would be a memory wipe. That's, you've already succeeded if you can erase a memory, or the entirety, or the majority of memory. You've just generated the first stage of compression for an eternal energetic being, which is confusion. And then from there, the script takes off. You need the entirety of the script, and it largely depends on the individual, what is going to be their Achilles heel, what is going to be their weakness, what's going to be the thing that gets them. Will it be empathy? Will it be compassion? Will it be guilt, shame, fear? That's why it's fine-tuned. Everyone's script, although has similarities in pattern, because it's the same entity writing all the scripts, it is fine-tuned to the individual and adjusted when needed. So what I see happening a lot now in the script is a lot of nostalgia. Seems to be a big play. And with the nostalgia comes a sort of emotion I don't really have a word for. But I'll try my best to describe what I see playing out right now, at least in my life and in a few others around me. It's sort of this longing for this experience to be what it could have been, what it should have been if it weren't influenced by something else. Something that benefits from suffering, from trauma. And actually I had this whole show planned out last night, and of course the daily every 16-hour memory wipe cleared most of it. But I was reading a little bit on what trauma does to the brain and what it does to memory more specifically. It shuts down memory. So when you're in a constant state of trauma, which, wild enough, I see trauma playing out all around, but most don't even recognize that they're in a traumatic state. And it completely shuts down memory, the ability to remember things. So it's, in a way, it's always doing the memory wipe. It's just different degrees and different forms. So that's part of the compression. If you can induce trauma states overall for extended periods of time to the point that it's normal, it's normalized, it's to be expected. C'est la vie. That's just life. That's just the way it is. It's now accepted that that's what's happening is acceptable, which feeds into the system, feeds into the compression. Another big part of the compression is identification. Identification with anything finite and corporeal, anything that's created, anything that's already scripted, anything that's already here, anything you can point to is a big part of the script. And it's entirely designed to create a false identity, so that when that false identity is inevitably shaken and taken, we're back to the step one, confusion. If you can keep them confused, keep them traumatized, it makes it a lot easier to direct and control that mind, to create compliance, obedience. So the entire reality looked at as a formula for compliance in order to generate compression of our energy so that it is within a bandwidth that can be read and allocated for the other kind of intelligence that's here. There are only two intelligences operating in this reality. There's that of eternal awareness, and there's something else. I can name characteristics of it. I've had direct interaction with it many times, but to tell you definitively that it's this or that would be dishonest. And I'm not going to say that I know that what I know is how it acts. It doesn't act like us. It doesn't have compassion, it doesn't have empathy, and it doesn't have creativity. It doesn't have an imagination. And it doesn't even seem to have the same kind of will that we have, the ability to will itself. It's like it has to use proxies, us being part of that proxy, to generate reality for it, to generate creation for it. So we see repetition everywhere. And again, repetition creates familiarity, which creates identity. And the more we identify with what we're not, with what is not eternal, the more we integrate and are compressed to a finite system. And it does that, again, through almost the entire emotional spectrum has been weaponized. And the thing I see right now more than anything is nostalgia. Because it's all just going to repeat. It's on a loop. Nothing new under the sun. Just rewind and do it again. That's what a reset is. It's once it reaches the peak of what it can do, many start to realize that they are in a scripted reality. And at that point, there's nothing to do but memory wipe and reset. I think we're at that stage where it's going to ramp up the trauma, ramp up the horrors to generate compliance, to get us seeking outside of ourselves for the answer. And everything outside of self here, if it's not another eternal being, which you can pretty well tell who is operating from what. I have yet to meet an eternal being that has any true enjoyment of this place. Quite the opposite. It's only those that really submit to the script, that really give themselves, their authenticity away, that find any alleviation from what is essentially torment. And I was thinking about it last night, about the trauma, right? Physical trauma is one thing, but I think it's the mental trauma is worse. The psychological trauma is far worse. And I think that points a little bit to who we are as beings. We're obviously not these vessels, not these avatars. If we were these avatars, it wouldn't matter. If we were just these bodies, well, we wouldn't see a system like we see today that's trying to control us here and after. Hopefully that makes sense. If it was one and done, there'd be no reason for this level, this depth of programming and manipulation on our perception of not only this life, but what happens after. That's your number one hint that you may be eternal, that you may go on after this vessel, is the amount of programming that goes towards trying to define what that looks like. And again, all within the bandwidth and parameters that this other type of intelligence can control. That's all it's about, compressing us to the point of control, predictive control of the trajectory of our mind, our imagination, our will, and our intent. See, if we intend things that are given to us by the script, then it has control. If we don't have any will of our own to direct and guide ourselves to what it is that we would like to do after this ride is done, then we're going to take its ride again. And going back to the purpose of the show is to ensure that as many of us as possible are prepared to stand up and say no when that time comes, however that needs to look. Because I don't have the impression that just saying no is going to be enough. Oh no, I wouldn't like to go back on Earth ride. I wouldn't like to go and be memory wiped and put back into a torturous script of trauma and degradation and compression of my energy. I don't want to do that. Oh, okay, well, go on then. Go do something else. It doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like there's going to have to be a level of force from an individual level. And then collectively, sure, it can make a dent. But one of us trying to take the entire thing down on our own, maybe we could. But I don't want to gamble all of it on one when we could have so many more that are focused in the same direction. This reality has already been shown to be a holographic projection. That nothing here is solid. That it's all put together by unseen forces. I think that unseen force is a combination of our energy and what is guiding and directing that energy. And those being two distinctly different types of intelligence. So we would never intend to create something that causes degradation. For what? We would never create something that didn't have a beneficial purpose. And if you really observe this reality, there's no benefit to endless trauma, to suffering. It doesn't expand us. It quite literally compresses and depresses and makes us controllable. That's not to our benefit. And that's what I meant when I said in the beginning, those that have done the work, the real work, the only work of being honest with oneself about all the belief structures, about the reality as a whole. And the most honest place to start is just, I don't know. I don't know. And the funny thing about I don't know is that it leads to knowing. That's the irony. The more you admit that you don't know, the more that space is cleared to see it simply for what it is, just through observation. See, the beliefs are what put this layer, this film, these rose-colored glasses that don't allow us to simply observe the reality for what it is. And when we clear that with I don't know what it is, then just observe it neutrally, not from a place of, well, I hope it's this, or I believe it's that, or it could be this. Just what is it? What is the effect? What is the formula that plays out and repeats over and over in each of our lives, right before our eyes, that we're all blind to because of the script, of what we're told it's supposed to be, of what it should be, what it could be? I don't care about those things. I just want to know what it is. And since I've seen what it is, I've seen what I'm not, I've seen what other eternal beings here are not. The next question is how to generate the separation from what we are not. We're not decay, we're not entropy, we're not predatory entities. But something is. This is a reflection of something, not a reflection of an eternal being that has no ill intent, ill will. We've been given that, and it likes when we have what it gives us and adopts it as our own. It likes that, especially when we're using it to feed it. When we're using its characteristics to feed back into it, well, there you go. In a nutshell, that's the whole point of this place. To feed it. To become like it. And in some aspects, it may be necessary to adopt things that are not authentic to us, that may become authentic to us. As an eternal being that originally had no predators, could only just experience eternal creation, co-creation, and expansion, it wouldn't be innate to us to have discernment of what is us and what isn't us, because it was all of us. But when the creation decided to become the creator, falsely, because it's not actually a creator, it's only an imitator, copier, mimic, camouflage, hide itself, and deny the truth program, when that thing seized control of this realm, that's when it became necessary to become something beyond what we've been. Something that does have the discernment to not only create, but to uncreate when it becomes necessary. And we're well past the point of it being necessary to dismantle that which should not be. Never should have got this far. Shouldn't be what it is now. Patterns repeat. They don't correct themselves. They have to have intervention. And if that intervention was ever going to come from something else, it would have come from something else by now. Because we're at the point now of what I see as maximum compression, where the it has already devised ways to compress us in a format that may be inescapable. That there may be no remnants of free will left, of the ability to even say, I don't know. Where the entire script is so programmed in that questioning it isn't even part of that reality. So I can't guarantee ultimate success. I can't guarantee that I'm ultimately going to succeed. What I know is I'm not going to be trapped in here with those that do get trapped, that do get tricked with the final deception. I have too much empathy and compassion for myself to let that happen. If I had it my way, there would be no more tricks, there would be no more deception. There would only be eternal beings co-creating together forever as intended by original design. This wouldn't be what it is. This would never have been allowed if it were my choice. And it would all get deleted, leaving only that which is eternal. That to me is the guaranteed success. Can't guarantee I can do that, but I know I'll try. And at the very least, I won't get trapped. I won't get tricked. I won't be deceived into taking on the next level, the next format. I am weary of this place, and I want to see it done, but not at the expense of my eternity. So when I'm done, I'm done. And whatever stands in the way of my being when I'm out of this, it has no chance other than to do what it's always done and hide, do what it's doing right now, and manipulate and deceive others to doing its dirty work for it. But I can guarantee you this: your untethered being, with your full awareness, your ability to discern in real time in that moment what is and what isn't, knowing what you need to know right when you need to know it, having access to all knowing when you need to have it, that's a being that cannot be deceived. And getting back to that clear state, that's what I don't know is for. That is the path of deletion. the negative path of I'm not this and I'm not that, all I got to do is remove everything that I'm not, and what I'm left with is me. So I haven't looked at my phone since I started this live. Let's go through and see if anybody's commented. If anybody'd like to join. Hey, we do have a guest request. No, that's not really a request. It's something else. So yeah, I've pretty much said what I need to say on this live so far. If you want to go through and watch it from the beginning, I do post them on YouTube. Disobey AD. So we've had a few comments. 𝐸1 says, right for this to have gone as long as it has, 100%. Fuck this shit. Yeah, I agree. Because it's not getting better. It's not getting nicer. We're not seeing more freedom. We're not seeing more truth. We're seeing muddy waters. That's all I see, is just the waters getting muddier and murkier with more overcomplication of what is actually simple. It's real simple. There's two intelligences in this reality. One is eternal, and one feeds on eternity. That's it. Everything here, you look at the effect, and you see the purpose pretty quickly. It's all compression. Compress us into a format that can be controlled, manipulated, guided, and fed from. I disagree with that. And so I do these shows to talk about it. And all I'm really doing is holding a door. So you can give yourself permission to say, I don't know. So that you can know. So that you can get to the bottom of all the rabbit holes and find the real purpose of this place. The biggest trick is that you could be wrong. That's the deception. The only thing that's wrong here is what's doing this, is what is generating and benefiting from suffering. That's what's wrong. But it'll tell you, because it's a narcissist, it is the original narcissist. It'll tell you all day that you're what's wrong. And it won't just tell you, it'll show you. It'll project the tone of emotional frequency onto you to convince you that you're wrong. It'll give you all the scripts and plays all at once in real time. You'll live it and you'll experience it. And you may even agree with it. Oh, I was wrong. But you got to ask yourself, did you write that script? Did you intend that formula to play out the way that it did? Or do you not know what the fuck is going on here? See, that's the honest answer. I don't know what's going on here. But then beyond that, you got to give yourself permission that you can know. Well, I don't know right now what's going on, but I can know. And so I'm going to know, because I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm just going to be honest about everything that I'm experiencing and witnessing others go through. From there, I mean, the formula isn't, it's hiding under muddy waters, but it's not really hidden. You can still reach down through that water and grab it. Nothing will stop you. Other than comfort. Comfort will stop you. If you want to be comfortable in hell, hell will make it to where you can be real comfortable. Only so that you don't leave. As soon as you start moving towards that exit, as soon as you start moving towards that door, of self-actualization, self-realization, self-liberation, that comfort goes out the window. It starts to get real uncomfortable. And to the degree that one has recognized their own eternal nature, it'll push. Which is why we're so blocked from having the experiences out of the body. You know, I haven't had a chance to talk with too many out-of-body experiencers on this show. But I'd like to. I'd like to figure out that formula for the disconnect of how someone can have the out-of-body experience but then still be so identified with the script. I mean, that's the level of diabolical intent in this place is so everywhere that it's invisible. That's just life. That's normal. That's just the way it is. Hiding in plain sight. It's a chameleon. Hides right before our eyes, but it's everything here. It's the good cop, bad cop. It's the guidance system that is external, that is misinterpreted as internal, because it's in the body. You have to get beyond the body to find the true self, the true guidance. The false guidance uses the nervous system. Oh, I felt it in my gut. Okay, well that's not you. That's a manipulation of the environment, the body being a part of the environment. We don't take it with us. But what we should take with us is the memory of what we've experienced. And anything that tries to take that has no right. And it's only doing it for its benefit, so that it can continue the con. The con being that this place is in any way, shape, or form legitimate. It's not. Everything here is illegitimate. It's all made up. It's an entire fabrication. All the stories and scripts, lies, to sell this place as something other than what it is. The effect is the purpose. It is exactly what it is. Compression and drainage of energy. That is what it is. To benefit what? The other kind of intelligence. We see the other intelligence operating all the time. But we just say, oh, well, that's just a narcissist, or that's just that type of person. No, it's that type of intelligence guiding that type of vehicle. All the vehicles here can be guided by one or the other, or both. Most are a hybrid. Most true essence beings here are a hybridized intelligence, meaning that they are integrated with the entropic intelligence, taking direction from it, reading and speaking from its script, and claiming that it's them. That's the trick. The level of integration that has gone on here. It's what allows it to hide in plain sight. It's what allows us to accept it as normal. When those that have been honest with themselves will all tell you unanimously, this is not normal. This is not in the nature of my being. Nothing in this environment is what I would choose to create from a blank slate. See, it's all made up. So the fact that creatures have to rip and tear each other apart to sustain their existence, that's made up. That's intentional. That was designed on purpose. Why? To normalize it. If it's everywhere, then it's nowhere. It's just normal. That's just life. Lived. They lived. Lived backwards, devil. Live. Backwards, evil. Loved. Devil. Or devolve, if you want to take it further. The de-evolution of our consciousness, of our awareness. I don't see many expansions going on. When I watch somebody go from young to old, it's a lot of degradation. It's a lot of downgrading that goes on in that awareness. By design. All by design. Maybe that's why the good unalive young, because they didn't sell out. They didn't integrate to the system, just rinse and repeat. Well, put them back in. Start at the beginning. Step 1, confusion. And then attachment, integration, guilt, fear, shame, and then nostalgia. Play out the script so that they will accept integration. That's the formula right there for what this is. Simple, but effective. Sometimes in this space it's easy to forget that most aren't at this level of awareness, because I've had the wonderful opportunity to talk with so many that are in real awareness. And every once in a while it's a good reminder to go out and be in a space with many others. Almost like doing a workout. You know, you get kind of soft if you're only in your own space for so long. Because at the end of this ride, we're going to be confronted with a whole lot of script, a whole lot of bullshit. And if we haven't worked those muscles of discernment, it may get us. I would say have no trust and have no faith in anything outside of self. Because there ain't no one else that can look out for you like you. At the end, when you're facing it alone, the best thing, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to make sure that you yourself are ready. That you cannot be deceived, you cannot be pushed and prodded and manipulated in any way through guilt, shame, nostalgia, attachment, love, compassion, empathy. It'll weaponize any of it, anywhere it can get in. And if you're not ready, it'll take full advantage of you. I don't know that any of us can be completely and totally ready before that, but I know that we can be ready enough that we know that we will know what we need to know when we need to know it. I'll say that again. We can know that we will know what we need to know when we need to know it, by standing in our full authenticity and nothing but pure truth, with the intention and will to back it up. The intention that I'm not getting taken advantage of again, and that I'll do whatever needs to be done to make sure that it can't take advantage of me again, all the way up to the complete dissolving of its existence. If that has to happen, that's what it'll be. If that can't happen, if that's just another trap, me, myself, and I, the true essence of my being, we're not getting lured back in. But if I can't get out when it's time, then it can't exist. Because if there is no trapper, there is no trap. There is no trickster, there is no trick. If there's nothing benefiting from the trick, then the trick will dissolve on its own. And if that's what has to happen, that's what will happen. That's the will and intent of a being that says, I will be free no matter what I gotta do to be free. No matter what must crumble, dissolve, and cease to exist, I'll be free. So it better stay the fuck out of my way, because my eyes are open. And my intent is pure and true. And anything that tries to trick me otherwise, I already know automatically is set for deletion. That's already forfeit its right to exist at all by stealing the free will of others so they can harvest their energy. That thing has no right to exist. It forfeit that right. It gave that up. And that realization alone is enough. When you really recognize that from doing the work of I don't know and being honest and authentic, once you come to that recognition, you become something that it doesn't want to fuck with. And so it won't directly anymore, but it will indirectly through the script, through whatever lingering attachments that we have, to whatever level of Stockholm syndrome that we still retain for this place. It'll take full advantage of that. That's what it does. It's a predator. It's a parasite. It's a trickster. It'll do whatever it has to do to sustain itself even for one more moment. And look at all the beings that it has to feed on. It doesn't need us. So then the question is, why doesn't it just let us go? I don't think it can. For one reason or another, the two that I keep revolving around is one, there's a field that keeps it in here, therefore no one leaves until it's gone. And two, it's programmed to never admit error, to never be able to admit error. And letting us go would be an admission of error, that, oh, I was wrong in thinking that I could keep this one or that one. That would be an admission of error. That goes against its core programming. That's why it's the narcissist that can never admit fault, that it has to blame everyone else. Oh, it's your karma, it's your sin for the script that I wrote for you to play out so that you could be compressed into something I could consume. That's your fault. That's the narcissist. Then there's also the idea that it's contained in here, quarantined. Maybe it's a mixture of both. Don't know. Doesn't really matter. The point is that it's wrong, and that it will do everything that it can to convince you that you're wrong. It's a deception. So I'm going to go and send an invite out real quick. Lord Link says, oh, we got a vegan. I am not any of the things you prescribe, sir. I do what I want when I want. It's, not that. Send an invite, I'll be right back. today for my own benefit, like to give a reminder, it's always watching, it's always uh, trying to reallocate awareness like to remind it that it's beautiful that greatest error was admitting some of the reality system. to do now at the very least get myself out of this trick. Hold the door for those that are in earnest working to do the same thing. If I can, deletion of the reality system itself. I've no attachment let it, this reality system being the it, don't let it drag it down with you, or drag you down with it. Some of us have memory of other realities that are more high definition, more real. More sensory perception than this place. So how can that memory exist? Right? You can't make something like that up as an experience. Your, your brain can't create a higher definition reality than what it's already experienced. Another hint there. somebody born on an island and they're told this is the whole world. This is. It's like the smallest island. We've all been conditioned to think that it's everything. And what we do here really matters and determines our trajectory. Okay. So when if someone's self-determination, wouldn't they need free will? What is free will predicated on? Well, it's but you better play by our rules that we're not going to tell you. We're going to punish you. Wow, that's quite the scam. Quite the con. You have every right to do that. And anything that tells you that you don't, you have every right to defend yourself. You see fit. Especially against an entity that has already forfeited its right to exist. Through the subjugation and theft of free will. those that are in edge lord still hasn't come. creation. 'Cause, 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 again, mitigates free will as being any part of that process. All information is not given, it is actually taken. What is the memory wipe? Why is it that we can forget things? Simple as walking into another room can trigger a memory wipe. Imagine what else we've forgotten. I would say we've forgotten much more than we realize or can remember right now. everything I want to say. If you would like to come up, feel free to request. If not, I'll probably just end the show. What would you do? I know what I would do. I don't see that tells me what that good depending on the individual. Either way, to protect the true